Thank you for watching East County SELPA's new Special Education Director video series. This series is part of a larger project funded by the California Department of Education under the IEP Technical Support and Assistance Grant. These videos supplement the other resources for new special education directors that can be found on our website, highqualityiep's.net. New special education directors come to this position with varied experiences. Some have been within the field of special education for many years, and some are brand new to special education. This video series is targeted to first and second year special education directors to provide perspectives related to special education of various departments within a district. The goal is to cultivate a deeper understanding of the special education director as they lead their department and collaborate with other district departments. For additional questions, special education directors are encouraged to collaborate with other leaders within their district and their special education local plan area director.
Congratulations! You are already or you are working to become a director of special education. My name is Natalie Winspear, and I am the Assistant Superintendent of Education Services in the Lakeside Union School District. Prior to this role, I was an assistant director or director of special education in 3 school districts over 7 years in San Diego County. You are on an exciting journey, and let me be the first to tell you that if you can successfully execute the director of special education job, you can do any job in the executive suite. The director of special education is a unique role where you will get so much experience and you will be forced to dip into other roles either collaboratively or maybe on your own. This may be intimidating or overwhelming along the way, but in retrospect, what you realize is that you learned not only how to lead in special education, but you also learned valuable skills in human resources, legal, dispute resolution, and leadership in general. Special education is the hardest job in the building, and once you are successful in that role, you can do anything, so congratulations. Here are the top 5 things I want you to know. Number 1, know your district LCAP and advocate for special education through the LCAP. The LCAP is the guiding document of the district. It is every leader's responsibility to know the LCAP and be able to speak to it. As the leader of special education, you want to position yourself so that you have influence or direct engagement in the development of the LCAP. What you don't want is for special education to be an afterthought in the LCAP. Volunteer to work alongside your assistant superintendent in the development of the LCAP. They will appreciate the support and you will be engaged every step of the way. Most districts have a mission and/or vision statement. Most school boards have board goals. In a perfect world, there is a through line from the district's mission and vision to the board goals to the LCAP. It should all be connected. Be familiar with all of these items. Being knowledgeable of this big picture allows you to leverage the beliefs and goals of your organization to ensure that special education is viewed as part and a partner to education services. Number 2, communicate. Over-communicate, then communicate some more. The importance of communication cannot be overstated. People need to hear things multiple times and in a number of ways before they integrate ideas into their worldview. As much as it may seem redundant, don't stop talking about the things that are important to you and that you want people to know. Create taglines that resonate with you and repeat them over and over to multiple audiences. Make them your own. This is how people get to know you and learn that you say what you mean and mean what you say. Stick with the big ideas until they have become part of the DNA of your program. When thinking about communication, you need to think about communicating up, down, and across your system. All these communication systems should be structured, efficient, and predictable. When communicating up, I recommend that you request a standing weekly meeting with your assistant superintendent. This means that you will have at least 1 hour each week to share information, your vision, and discuss collaborative items. With an hour each week at a set time, you can plan to strategically make time for thorough discussion. When communicating, it is important to find the right balance between too much information and not enough. If you give too much information, your assistant superintendent is going to be confused about what you need from them and how they can advocate for your department. They may also feel overwhelmed and feel unsure about your expectations. If you don't give enough information, They will not be able to adequately advocate on your behalf or follow through on the items that you need from them. Create a structure together that you feel meets both of your needs and follow that structure weekly so that your meetings become predictable and comfortable for both parties. The goal is to create a partnership where you make it easy for the assistant superintendent to be your thought partner, for you to feel supported, and for the assistant superintendent to understand and be able to speak to the information when you are not physically present. When partnering, be really clear about what your decision points are while giving enough background information so you can partner around decision making. In some circumstances, you may have a recommended decision or you just want awareness and support. Other times, you might want to collaboratively make decisions, so you will have to set the stage with enough background information so a good conversation can ensue. I will often call out, this is an action item, or this is not an action item. I just want you to be aware. This ensures that your assistant superintendent can be in the right headspace to give you what you need. When communicating down, remember to have systems and to over-communicate. Whether it is a weekly memo or video or another structure, put something in place so you have a consistent vehicle for sharing your message. Remember to include information about how decisions were made. Call out the committee that worked with you on the project. Remind your team about the survey where you solicited input. Sometimes executive decisions have to be made, and that is okay, as long as not every decision is made that way. When that happens, be open about it, own it, and give rationale for why it is that way. Also, be positive and aspirational in your communications. You are setting the example that we can do hard things together, and there are always things to celebrate. When communicating across the system, be clear, concise, and strategic. Too much information will cause folks to tune out. Think about what you really want or need people to know and stick to that. Beat the drum for your teachers and providers, making sure you are setting the tone for new initiatives or difficult endeavors. As much as you can create psychological safety for your leaders in the field, do it. They will appreciate that you are setting the stage for their work to be embraced. Number 3, build capacity. A huge part of your role is to educate your assistant superintendent about special education. If your assistant superintendent is knowledgeable about special education, that is amazing. You are lucky. Often, that will not be the case. That means that it is your job to include educational opportunities in your weekly meetings. Make sure your assistant superintendent understands things like FAPE, LRE, ADR, due process. Not all at one time, but over time, cover the basics. Change things up to keep it interesting and maybe even ask what they want to learn more about. Work with your assistant superintendent to do the same educating with your site leaders. Ask for time in leadership meetings to review laws, policies, and procedures around special education. This ensures that you are building the capacity of the entire leadership team to own special education programs across the district. I have noticed that it is often insecurity or fear of special education that inhibits collaboration and ownership of programs on school sites. By educating the team as a whole and then drilling deeper in one or more meetings, you will build the capacity of the whole team to effectively support special education programs and students across the district. Reflect on your observations of teaching practices or evidence-based practices and use these as a springboard for building capacity. Number 4, have a growth mindset. If you have stepped into a perfect special education program where no improvements or refinements need to be made, congratulations, you are a unicorn. Oh wait, unicorns don't actually exist. As an educational leader, there will always be areas where growth or improvements are needed. It is the nature of our work. Even in a highly effective system, new evidence is always being presented that can help us to refine programs for our students. There is literally no finish line in education. We will always be working to improve outcomes and redesigning our systems to get the best possible results. The great news is job security. The challenge is maintaining your stamina. How can you maintain stamina? 1, growth mindset, and 2, self-care. If you get one thing out of this video, I want it to be this. It is your moral and ethical responsibility to take care of yourself and to model self-care for your team. Let me say it again. It is your moral and ethical responsibility to take care of yourself and to model self-care for your team. If you are burnt out, tired, overstressed, and disillusioned, you are not going to do your best work. You are in a service profession. In a service profession, there will never be enough hours in the day to accomplish all that needs to be done. As such, you need to set boundaries so you can be healthy, happy, and passionate about your work. Make it a priority to identify what feeds your soul and give yourself that regularly. Practice gratitude, meditate, work out, spend time with loved ones, disconnect from work, and just be. These actions will allow you to inoculate yourself from stress and burnout and ensure that you are in tip-top condition so you can serve your community. This is the most important work in the world, and in order to do this work, you must care for yourself. Number 5, last but not least, take time to celebrate accomplishments. You are the head cheerleader for special education in your district. As you know, special education is a challenging field. It is technical, it is emotional, and it is complicated. There will always be a long list of things to do, a long list of people who are mad about something, and plenty to be frustrated about. You will have to put that aside and make sure that what you are promoting is not all of that. What you must be promoting are the accomplishments of your department, your team members, and your students. It may feel disingenuous in the beginning when you are celebrating accomplishments, as you know in the back of your head all of the things that are yet to be improved within your programs. Remember, both things can be true at the same time. Things can be challenging, and at the same time, things can be amazing. Set the tone for your department. Start with positives. Praise people for their effort. Thank people for always showing up, putting their best foot forward, trying something new. Just like students, give more attention to what you want than what you don't want. Yes, you will need to address issues. Yes, things will go wrong. Things will also go right, and people will work hard for you when they know that you notice those things. Just like we say kids won't learn from a teacher who they think doesn't like them, the same is true for adults. So position yourself as a cheerleader for your team. Brag about people behind their backs. Share data about accomplishments with your executive suite and your school board at every opportunity. Highlight promising practices and people who are willing to try new things. Get to know the names of your classified personnel. Praise them when you see them having positive interactions with students. Remind them that this work could not be done without them. I promise that every minute you spend cheerleading will come back to you with dividends in the long run. People will want to join your cause. They will want to work hard for you, and they will want to be part of something bigger than themselves, something that makes their community better. So remind them that this is what you are doing and celebrate them every single chance you get.